So,
What time's the baseball game? You already started?
starting on 3-1, fourth inning.
Who?
Georgia.
Y'all were trying to get over there, I bet. I thought we had a good scrimmage. I was pleased with the effort and enthusiasm. As is always the case in scrimmages, one side will shine and then the other side will shine. So I thought defensively we started out really well. The two defense went against the one offense and at least held them to field goals there early, and then the one defense kind of dominated the two offense early. But then we start going ones on ones, and we had some really good competition between the defense and offense. I thought that the inconsistencies showed up sometimes in being able to sustain drives offensively and then explosive plays on defense. I mean, we gave up a couple explosives, and we don't need to do that to be a good defense. But I thought they executed hard. There was some good licks passed, physical, which is what my goal was just to have great effort and great mental and physical toughness, and I thought we did have that. I thought Kamara did some good things in the punt game. Rod hit his field goals that we asked him to make. Competitive situations in the red area, the offense did a good job with. I thought DeJuan did some good things with his feet. He was able to break contain and get out and move around, and he got better today. He's got some improving to do, but he got better today. And overall, I was pleased with the effort of the guys. With that, I'll open it up.
Do you mind, was there a wow moment? Was there a great play that you could point to share with us?
Not really. I mean, Matt Landers had some drops and was frustrated with Matt, and then all of a sudden Matt made a couple really good plays. So, again, that's some of the inconsistencies we need to be consistent to get where we need to go. We're looking for wide receivers to step up, and he made a couple really good plays, but the average play you should make every day, he had a couple of those he didn't. So we need him to grow up for us to be a good offensive football team. We've got to have vertical outside threats. I think Tyler and JJ are playing well, but it's not going to be done just by them. So the Matt Landers, the Trey Blunts, the Kieris Jacksons, all those guys have really got to step up. D-Rob, they've got to step up to make us dangerous on offense.
You talked about the Walter Grant thing we talked about last week, earlier this week. Running back and tight end, kind of needing some bodies. Does that show up more in a scrimmage like that? Do you kind of notice it maybe a little bit more when you've got so much competition and
notice
speed stuff?
What?
The
need them more?
The thinness at those two positions.
Probably shows up less in a scrimmage. I mean, scrimmage is just two offense and defense on the field. When we practice, typically we have two spot going on. We have one offense, one defense, two offense, two. There's just 44 people out there practicing. In a scrimmage, there's 22 people. So it shows up a little bit less in regards to being thin because you're not trying to do multiple drills at the same time. But yeah, he worked. He worked today at back, and he worked today at outside backer. He took reps at both.
Are Stetson and Mathis, did they split the twos reps today? And what's the competition there?
It's competition. I mean, they didn't split the twos 50-50. Stetson got some, a little bit with the ones. He got some with the twos. DeJuan got some with the twos. DeJuan got most of the threes. So they got about the same number of reps, but not the exact same groups.
With all those offensive positions, running back, tight end, wide receiver, knowing there are more people going to be here in the summer, how important is it for the guys who are here right now to make a strong impression on you while they have the stage to themselves?
That's very important, but I think the question is, who are they? Because some of the guys at that position, I always say, if you start at 2 years, you got to get better, you got to grow, you got to learn new plays, maybe that Coach Coley's doing. But at the end of the day, I know Charlie Warner has played a lot of football here. I know DeAndre Swift has played a lot of football here. So they're going to practice, they're going to play, they're going to get better, they're going to compete. But it's not like they're trying to prove something. Where a guy's got to prove something is a guy that's got somebody coming in and he's not proven. So he has to take advantage of it because we tell him in the fall, those reps, when they become marginal, are going to the new guy to find out what he can do. So you get plenty of opportunities if you're Matt Landers, Tommy Bush, Kieris Jackson, all those guys that are, and it's the same way at DB. We just don't have anybody else coming in at DB, but we're getting a ton of reps for guys that we want to find out where they are.
Following up on the question on quarterbacks, with DeJuan Mathis, where are some of those areas where you would like to see him improve? And then also, like, going into a scrimmage type of setting, how is it as a coach to see that you have more depth there and see that play out than you did last year?
Well, it's tough because anything I say is going to look like it's a negative for DeJuan. I mean, DeJuan's straight out of high school.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no expectation that he's going to come in here and conquer the verbiage and the words we have by scrimmage one.
Right.
So, you know, Stetson even has the advantage of having been in the offense before.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want anything I say. I mean, every quarterback we have has to get better. Every player we have has to get better. DeJuan has a lot of growth because he hasn't been here. He hasn't taken reps or he hasn't done the words. I was very pleased with where he was today. Now, y'all may take that and write that he's ready to start. I'm taking it that he is improved and he has a long way to go, but I'm pleased with where he is right now. And we tried to simplify it for him today so that he could go out there and play football and we could evaluate him at where he is now, not giving him the same menu that Jake's got. That's just not fair.
Jermaine Johnson, is he banged up a little bit?
He got a sprained ankle.
Sprained ankle.
He sprained his ankle, and I guess the last time I talked to y'all, whenever that was, so
Okay.
he was not able to practice. But he had a foot injury coming in from
Right.
Junior college, and he didn't get to practice kind of during the bowl practices, and then he kind of re-injured that during our practices. But we think he's going to be fine. I think he should be back in the next couple of days.
Cool.
Kirby, what are you trying to get most out of your special teams this spring?
Well, I'm trying to find a returner. And if there's one area that would say was concerned today, it was probably judgment, making decisions, catching the ball, securing the ball. So return game is probably the most vital when you say, well, that was a strength last year, but it was a strength mainly because we had experience. And the two guys put in toe to leather have been around here and both played, and I thought they did a good job today. But we're working on it all. I mean, we're working on coverage unit, return units. We're trying to improve kickoff because kickoff stats looked horrible last year, but Rod kicked it in the end zone at such a high rate that a few returns kicked us way down the line, when in reality we had pretty good kickoff because of Rodrigo. But we're trying to improve kickoff coverage, so we're working on them all. We did them all today.
When you talked about Camarda, some of the things you liked from him today, kind of what were you talking about with that?
Camarda?
Yeah, come on, Jake Camarda.
Yeah, he punted the ball well.
Did I mean, as far as, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he punted it well. He had good hang time. His
Yeah.
hang time matched his distance. I think he hit maybe one that wasn't a winning kick, we would say. But I thought Brooks, backup field goal kicker, kicked it well. And Camarda's been kicking field goals well.
Right.
But I think he may have missed one today.
How big were the bowl practices for Aziz Ojolari, trying to rehab from an injury, and sort of how does he perform this spring?
Yeah, I think he's transitioned really smooth. I think the bowl practices for he and Devad and some of those young players, it's almost made them like an experienced vet because they got all that work and they had really not played all year, and then they were able to go play the whole game like a starter, and that helped his confidence now. He's playing better, not where he needs to be. I mean, he's got to get more physical. He's got to be able to play on Andrew and Isaiah, but he's playing a lot better because of what he did for the bowl game as opposed to like just starting now.
Jake Fromm's played a lot of football for you. How noticeable has that experience been through the practices this spring?
Well, that's obvious. I mean, he understands things, and there's probably times that he has to be careful that he doesn't get bored because I know defensively he knows every call we got. He hears the call. He's already got his call. He knows what the next step is from getting their call and our call half the time. But that's part of growth, and that's part of him in kind of implementing his leadership to our offense to use the experience he has to say, you know what, we're not executing well. We went 3 and out against the 2 defense. Well, that's not who we are. And I think you see him assert himself more as he's gotten more and more comfortable with it. And he's done some good things with the ball. You've got to make good decisions with the ball, which he's done thus far.
How have your backs been so far this spring?
Good. I mean, we haven't done anything live till today, so today was their first chance. And early on in the scrimmage, there wasn't a lot of places to go. It was tough sledding out there because defense was playing really well. They were once again probably bigger weapons out of the backfield in the air than just run game. We had some nice runs, but to be honest with you, the most explosive plays by the backs came by, Brian Herring catching the ball out of the backfield and the linebacker bust, boom, 30 yards. Swift catching a check down, make a guy miss. The things you guys have seen them do. It was not an overpowering run game like you might expect.
Who, concerning the slot position, Terry, Miko, gone to Akil as well. I know Kyrus has worked there. Are there any more of those outside guys kind of getting looks inside primarily?
Yeah, D-Rob's worked in there, made some plays. Kyrus obviously has worked in there. Urban's worked in there. That's an area that moving forward after first scrimmage we're going to look at and say, what other pieces do we have of outside guys that could go inside to make sure we have a threat there. You know, Kieris made a couple plays today, but he left a couple on the table, you know, and that's where the consistency at receiver is what we need to be explosive.
You brought up Don Blaylock in the past scrimmage. I also want to ask, is that kind of where he fits for you guys too, in y'all's mind?
Well, we don't have him pigeonholed anywhere. We think Dom can play all three spots, slot and both outside. He's very bright. He's intelligent. He picks up things well. We think he's going to help in the return game. But it's not like we're sitting there going, he's a slot receiver. We think he can play all of it.
Do you think you guys have any difference makers on the defensive line?
Difference makers. I think Tyler Clark's a difference maker when he wants to be, when he's playing really hard and playing quick. In a very unique way, Jordan Davis is a difference maker. I mean, he's not explosive and quick, but he's a mountain of a man, and he's hard to move. And in the SEC, you need a guy like that. Are you saying an elite three technique, you know, guy that's quick and twitchy? We don't have that right now. No, we're certainly trying to recruit it, but we got some edge guys. And when you count defensive line, you know, you sometimes count the defensive ends. I thought Nolan played with a high motor today and played really explosive. He's got to get more physical in the run game, but he certainly plays hard, and you know he's out there because he covers down and makes plays.
High expectations of the offensive line. How did you think that defensive line held up in the scrimmage against that group today?
It was hit or miss. I mean, again, I started out with probably disappointing at the beginning, and the defense was playing with more of a chip on the shoulder, and then as the scrimmage progressed into the third down in the red area and a lot of the other situations, the offense asserted itself, especially in the red area. So it can't be that inconsistent for the expectations of what we want our offense to be physicality-wise. We've got to be more consistent doing it, but at times they did do it.
Was James Cook able to give you what more this time? You talked about he's a little bit.
Yeah, he carried it. I mean, all those backs kind of shared the load. They all had 9 or 10 carries apiece.
Will Cox and Beal be practicing this week coming up? It seems like we didn't see them out there. Are they being disciplined, I assume?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be out there or not. It's going to depend on how well they do their discipline.
Is it tough to be happy after scrimmages in the spring?
I don't know if it's tough to be happy. I mean, I think it's never as good as it seems, never bad as it seems. And I heard that a long time ago, and you leave the scrimmage thinking, man, that was a great scrimmage. And then you go watch it, and you're like, oh, we got a long way to go. And then when you walk off the field feeling like you're terrible and that you're not very good, you watch it, and it was better than you thought. So I try not to get on the whole emotional roller coaster of it. We're going to watch the tape. We're going to evaluate it. We're going to move some guys around. We're going to try to get the best 11 players every situation we can get. We're going to try to grow our young players. We got some young players that don't know what to do, and that's not their fault. We've got to get them ready to play. So I don't feel any type of way coming out of it.
We've had a couple of last couple of years, pretty high level of buzz, for lack of a better word, about the G-Day game. Do you feel like there's this similar excitement or anything special that build up for that game?
I think the University of Georgia fans love this game, and I certainly don't expect anything less. I mean, I'm not sitting here proclaiming that everybody has to come to the game. I think we've got a really good football team coming back. I think we got an exciting team. I think that is an opportunity to showcase the talents of 14 new freshmen that just got here that people want to come watch and see. It certainly has impacted our recruiting. We're going to have some of the best players in the country coming by to G-Day because they want to see what the atmosphere is like in Athens. And, you know, I just think that's the nature of the beast when you're at University of Georgia, that fans want to come watch it. So it's a free chance to watch a game for a lot of people that have never seen a game here.
Speaking of those 14 freshmen, any of them stand out today?
I couldn't say that. Not having, no. I mean, I didn't see a guy just flash and go, wow, that guy's really stood out or did anything without watching the tape. We'll have to go back and watch it.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.